yeah, I knew I had seen this discussion being held somewhere, because one of the bigger voting blocks for Donald Trump was not just farmers, but it was especially cattle ranchers. Why? Because they were even so much as happy that he was implementing tariffs, because it was going to solidify a block for them to be able to sell their beef. Now, this was a conversation that was held on Fox News when they interviewed one of the cattle ranchers, explaining how he was happy about the tariffs that Trump was going to implement. Why? Because it was going to be a benefit to them. Now, what it is that you'll realize is no one on that specific side really has a complaint until their market gets affected. Once their lifestyle is being affected, all of a sudden, they're disappointed with the Trump administration because the Trump administration has done something that they said that they wouldn't do. In this case, it happens to be Argentina, because Donald Trump has stated that he's looking to now purchase beef or import beef from Argentina over to the U.S., and that seems to go contrary to what it is that he said before, because prior he was making the claim that he was going to then open up the beef market and expand for everything to be USA first. Doesn't seem to be the case. What he's doing in terms of almost giving $40 billion to Argentina, then they turn around and start selling soybeans to China, and then he turns around and starts buying meat from them, is beyond a slap in the face. So this was a conversation that they had beforehand. Here we go.
So, John, an industry that is supportive of President Trump's sweeping tariffs is the American cattle ranchers. Our next guest says they will lead to a cutback of imported beef, boosting the value of their livestock. Let's bring in Steve Lucy, a fifth-generation cattle rancher based out of my home state of Illinois. And, sir, welcome to you. We're trying to tell the story from every angle possible. And what is yours?
Well, I'm glad to be here. Thank you very much for having me on. My side of the story is this: remain calm. We've been through so many ups and downs in our country, and especially in my industry. And as we see farmers and ranchers every day, we deal with commodity price fluctuation. So this doesn't bother us to have some fluctuation in markets right now. We know there's going to be a little bit of pain, and we need to deal with that. I don't think any of us know what's going to happen with these tariffs, but what we do know for a fact is that the American beef industry has been on the short end for a long time.
You know, Steve, that is really interesting. And we have had a reporter on the scene telling us about the beef imports. Many of us maybe didn't realize that Australia has sold $29 billion worth of beef into the United States, and we haven't been able to sell $1 of our beef to them. Senator Barrasso pointed that out on our airwaves this morning.
The problem here is it almost looks like everyone voted for their own personal interest. How it affects them is what directed how they voted, not necessarily how it affects the rest of the country, just how it affects them and their well-being. And then when those things go awry, all of a sudden they complain and say that he's not doing his job.
That is not what you said.
So contrast that conversation with the conversation that Destiny was on stage having with a, I guess, local rancher by the name of, I believe, is Admiral Gibbs.
All right, so I kind of wanted to talk about a topic that's close to me, because I feel like most voters vote local.
Okay.
All right, and so it's kind of going to include some of the immigration, some of the tariffs. So I'm a rancher, you know, and Trump is the best president that we've had in the last 70 years for ranchers. What do you have something to say to people like us who are excited about what Trump's doing with the tariffs?
Ranchers that doesn't include like ordinary agriculture? Is that just animal ag, or?
Yeah, specifically the cattle. I mean, I'm not a farmer, so I can't speak to that, but I can speak to ranchers.
Sure, because I know he's been horrible for farmers in his first term and right now in this term. The soybean thing that just happened with Venezuela, I think.
This is before the announcement with Argentina.
Well, I mean, part of that's also the overregulation with what they've done with alfalfa and they've done with grain. I mean,
no, it was due to Trump's tariffs and horrible negotiation skills and getting outplayed completely by China. Yeah.
I mean, well, we can look with ranching due to gestation periods. We can see specifically that over the next 2 years, we're going to have a turn. We're going to go from being the lowest herds that we've ever had to actually starting to be able to grow again and be competitive in the market. And, you know, all these policies that Trump's put forth have been very beneficial to us. You know, the trade deal with the UK specifically being one, some of these other trade deals, cutting out other countries like Paraguay, which was opened up with Biden. I mean, why do y'all hate ranchers?
Why do I hate what?
Why does the left seem to hate ranchers?
Well, I don't know if the left hates ranchers. Trump hasn't made any trade deals with any countries yet, so I don't know what trade deals you're referring to when you talk about the UK or anybody. All Trump has done is increase the tariffs to basically every country on the planet right now, so I don't know how that's helping.
Well, that's not true. The UK just agreed to get rid of restrictions and match USDA requirements regarding beef, and so they agreed to get rid of the restrictions on how much beef they've included. That's something I know
might
for
have
a
agreed
fact
in
that's
a
happened.
speech, but there hasn't been any like deal formalized yet. Like these are all like skeletons of plans, and we're still waiting for something.
Well, I mean, that's
actually
better than nothing. You just talked about how, with the border, right? You just talked about how, oh, they just slapped a thing on there and then, we haven't finished the job. Well, at least we got something started. Before, it was just continuous bleeding. Would you agree that getting some kind of start is better than no start at all?
No, because we're starting 1,000 feet behind the starting line because Trump started by tariffing the entire planet for no
Exactly.
reason.
Yeah, because they've been taking advantage of the great United States.
They haven't been taking advantage of us.
Yeah,
Our economy
absolutely.
is destroying the rest of the world.
It's not taking advantage. They've been trading with the United States. It's not taking advantage. Just because you buy more because you have a consumer nation doesn't mean that people are taking advantage of you because they have something that you want to consume. They have something that you want. You buy it. They give you the thing. You give them money. If you have something that they want, they buy it. They give you money. It's called trade. Trade money for goods. You want goods? Give money.
We're the biggest economy on the planet.
Yeah, exactly. So they should be paying for access to that.
Part of the
specifically.
reason why we're the biggest economy on the planet is because they don't have to pay for access. We have open and free trade.
Yeah, but
Exactly.
listen, everybody wants to be a Walmart. That's great and all, but eventually Walmart has to up its cost if there's no kind of, benefits to them making money. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yes, but if you have a Walmart, a Kmart, a Target, and Target and Kmart charge you to come in the doors, everyone's going to go to Walmart if Walmart allows you to come into the doors for free.
it's
Part of the
capitalism.
reason why everybody wants to go to Walmart, though, is because everybody can go to Walmart. As soon as you start making it restrictive and you start putting tariffs and other people start counter-tariffing you, nobody wants to go to your place.
Exactly.
Yeah, but whenever you have to pay all these different things with Walmart specifically, right? Like, there's a reason why Walmart's closed down in certain neighborhoods due to crime and theft because it becomes not profitable. Right now, we're running with the biggest deficit we've ever run, and it's time to make some changes. And specifically with ag and ranching, we're actually seeing benefits and changes that are benefiting ranchers, especially with the border control. It's helping to stop the screwworm infestation in Mexico from coming here. If that comes to Mexico, the beef industry collapses completely because of the small herds. I mean, why would we not want this kind of security? Why wouldn't we want these trade deals to benefit Americans?
We don't have any trade deals yet, so I can't really speak
What
to...
do you mean we don't have trade deals? They're announcing trade deals all the time. Stuff is finalized.
Yeah,
They're
and
starting the
we're
process.
always 2 weeks away from them.
Nah, that's convenient. I mean, it's not always 2 weeks away.
It is always 2 weeks.
Yes, it is. Meanwhile, they asked Donald Trump a question in regards to what it is that he feels about the farmers that feel as if the deal with Argentina is going to benefit Argentina and China and not the U.S. Meanwhile, the U.S. is funding this deal that Argentina almost seems like they went around and stabbed them in the back for. And now the farmers all feel betrayed. What do you have to say about that?
What do you have to say to U.S. farmers who feel that the deal is benefiting Argentina more than it is them, as they are a top
Argentina's fighting for its life, young lady. You don't know anything about it. They're fighting for their life. Nothing's benefiting Argentina. They're fighting for their life. You understand what that means? They have no money. They have no anything. They're fighting so hard to survive. If I can help them survive in a free world, I happen to like the president of Argentina. I think he's trying to do the best he can. But don't make it sound like they're doing great. They are dying. All right? They're dying.
So they ask him another question, and he goes directly to talking about the beef, wondering if she's talking directly about the beef prices that need to come down. And this is where he mentions that he's looking to make a deal with Argentina, and that it is in the works, and the beef prices might come down if they start importing Argentinian beef. Now, if that is not a betrayal to cattle ranchers, I don't know what is.
You just don't get it, do you? You don't.
Because the whole plan, the entire campaign, was supposed to surround itself around America first. If the entire time you ran on America first, we're going to build inside America, we're going to keep things in-house, and you now are okay with importing from all over the world, then what was all that campaigning really for?
with soybeans, and on Argentina, you're looking to do that deal with Argentina, the bail swap. So,
Respecting beef?
are we expecting a beef deal?
I assume you're talking about beef, yeah.
No, I'm-
To get beef prices down. The only price we have that's high is beef, and we'll get that down. And one of the things we're thinking about doing is beef from Argentina.
But my question is, what do
Yeah, I'm not going to lie, Argentinian beef is actually pretty good. I think it's pronounced entraña. And so the cattle ranchers and the farmers all see what he's currently doing as a betrayal of their vote. So he decided that he was going to push back. In this report here, this is where the cattle ranchers actually begun to speak up. But when Trump caught wind of that, he released a message on Truth Social, which basically read as, Donald J. Trump, The cattle ranchers who I love don't understand that the only reason they are doing so well for the first time in decades is because I put tariffs on cattle coming into the United States, including a 50% tariff on Brazil. If it weren't for me, they would be doing just as they've done for the past 20 years. Terrible. It would be nice if they would understand that, but they also have to get their prices down because the consumer is a very big factor in my thinking also. And so it almost seems as if what he's saying to them is they need to get their act straight, get your prices down, or else I will bring competition that will come with lower prices, and therefore it might actually push you out of the market completely. And the cattle ranchers heard that and they didn't like it. So they responded here.
American cattle ranchers are not happy with President Donald Trump's idea to buy more beef from Argentina. The president floated the idea as a way to bring down grocery costs, but a farmer in Bates County says that's not a good idea. He shared his concerns with KCTV5's Gianni Navarro.
Here at Mocan Livestock, they buy, raise, and feed cattle, also processing the meat on site. The owner tells me this business and the smell isn't always glamorous. It's tough and expensive, and he's afraid outsourcing meat will only shorthand hard-working American cattle farmers.
All Angus cattle that we harvest.
On Thursdays, Missouri farmer Jim Herzog's barn is filled with the sound of cattle being sold.
We receive cattle on Wednesday, sell them on Thursdays, and we load out Thursdays and Fridays.
Herzog, who's been in the business for over 3 decades.
We've got a relationship with Springfield Grocers and U.S. Foods.
Disagrees with the president's idea to outsource more beef and feels quality will be impacted, affecting your selection at the store.
They can bring it all in they want, but if you lay a steak from Argentina and compare it to a steak from Passaic, Missouri, hands down, there's no comparison.
According to Missouri Department of Agriculture, the state's cattle industry contributes $1.6 million to Missouri's economy. Right now, supply is low, but demand is still high. It's an issue Herzog says will work itself out.
We'll start raising more, have more cows to raise more calves, and it'll take time, probably 3 to 5 years. And then it'll start coming back down.
Until then, he feels there are better, long-lasting solutions to solving that problem.
Supporting our young kids in agriculture, help them get set up. Let's put together a program where they can actually buy a farm, buy some cattle.
Herzog tells me despite the challenges the cattle industry may face, for them, this is not a job, it's a passion. And he's proud of what his family has built here.
Hold on. This part.
Supporting our young kids in agriculture, help them get set up. Let's put together a program where they can actually buy a farm, buy some cattle.
Yeah, you guys in that area help them buy a farm, buy some cattle. Because the way that it almost sounded as if he wants Trump to roll out a program where the kids can buy a farm and buy some cattle. That sounds like a subsidy. You don't want a handout. It's actually my hope this is really fake and it was just someone on the left that was trolling, but I'm starting to get the feeling it's not, that she might actually be a Trump supporter who voted for Trump, who now might be regretting because his decisions are directly affecting her, which would directly affect her lifestyle and her loved ones. And she might be having some ill-fated regret in regards to how it is that she voted. Never mind the fact that every time someone has some level of disagreement, Trump just mentions that this is exactly what it is that they voted for. Everyone knew this was going to happen, but hear her out.
If you are involved in the beef industry, you probably well know that the market is down the limit today. With a few words from our president, we have watched everyone start to scramble, wondering what's going to happen. American agriculture stood behind you, President Trump, and we put full faith in your ability to put America first, particularly American production, which comes down to the farmers and the ranchers that feed this great nation, that keep her free, that are the backbone. And as all of us wonder if the borders are going to open or what is going to happen, all of us are wondering a little bit about domestic agriculture. This is the first time in a long time that as cattlemen and women that we've actually been on top, where that banknote isn't going to be quite as hard to make. We don't want a bailout. We don't want all of those things. We want a free market. We want a market where we are actually getting paid a fair price, where we have the opportunity to keep up with all of the input costs that are going through the roof. You're going to make food cheaper, but what about our John Deere tractors? What about our pickup trucks our trailers, our feed cost, our fuel cost, all of those things that we are still paying through the roof for. Just trying to make that banknote with a 8% interest rate has been beyond difficult for so many people in this industry. I am hoping and praying with all my might that as we wonder what's going to happen, and those few words that change everything for so many of us, that we will remember to put American agriculture first. Stand up for her. Keep her free.
Free market. If your business doesn't survive, it's because a better opportunity came for the consumer. And so therefore, they weeded you out. This is where you would have to adjust your business model, whether it be the product or whether it be the price. If the consumer can't afford what it is that you're putting forward, and the same product comes from a different provider with a better price, guess where they're going to go? And if you want to survive, guess what you're going to have to do? Drop your prices. If you can't afford to drop your prices, adjust your business model. I venture to say that if she really is a cattle rancher or involved in agriculture, putting a message like this up on TikTok without even looking at the comments, I can almost promise you a lot of those comments are just going to say, you got exactly what you voted for.
Damn!
That's all I got for now. Whatever your thoughts are, leave them in the comment section. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to drop a like, and I will see you again on the next one. Be easy, y'all.